Welcome back to episode 2 of my story. Thank you guys that checked out episode 1. If you haven't seen it, go ahead back, hit that one up, hit me with a like on that one, come back, hit me with a like and comment. But we're just gonna pick it up, man. So like after I kind of mentioned one of my rap names in the first video, and it was D Money. So I actually had a couple people hit me back and they were laughing at it, so I tried to think of the rest of the rap names that I had at the time, so I wrote them down. So they were The Myth, I went by. Yes, like The Myth, like a mythical figure or whatever. Finesse the Finisher, I believe I mentioned those in the last video. Rick Ness, which was a derivative of Finesse because I had heard about Lord Finesse. Casanova was another one. The Crisis was another one. Danger Rich, which was one I had for many years, and then I decided, a lot of my favorite guys ended up going by their real names, or their real names were really well known, so I'll go by my real name and try to make that mean something, which is Rich Latta. So I'm still debating whether I just want to keep Rich or Rich Latta, but Rich Latta seems to be like, the thing right now. But picking up kind of a different part of the story. So all throughout like 7th grade, I had a group with my boy Hots. We were called the Supreme Squad. Funny story about the Supreme Squad. I didn't really consider myself like a rapper yet, even though I would write rhymes and try to do my thing, but I didn't have any songs. I didn't really know what to do. I was just kind of doing it. But we decided we were gonna make these shirts, right? The shirts are gonna be fucking fire. Daryl, he was, swift with the artwork and, doing stuff with his hands, like as far as drawing stuff. I was not. So I show up to school with this cut off red shirt. Daryl does too. His is way better than mine. He has like a microphone on it. I had Supreme Squad. It looks like, the shit, essentially. And mine looks like a damn 5-year-old drew it. And it was like, I don't know what happened, but my boy Daryl was like, yeah, man, we can't be having you wearing that. So he ended up making me one. But we had the Supreme Squad, but I still didn't, quite, jump into it, I would say, all throughout 7th grade, head first, the way I would like a year later when I started that Flow City group with 5 of my folks. So the 2002 winter Christmas vacation was very valuable for me. Around that time, the Jay-Z Blueprint 2 album came out. Now, the Blueprint 2 gets a lot of criticism, like it's too long, there's too many songs, blah, blah, blah. I loved the album. It was perfect for me. I needed 28 songs to learn from, all types of different styles, different flows, different cadences, different beat selections, how to handle yourself on the track with other people. I learned all from that album, and I will argue to the grave about the Blueprint 2 and why I love it. So during that time, I want to say I was like, when I go back from winter vacation, I'm gonna be a monster, and I'm going to write as many verses as I can. I want to say I wrote about 30 verses. Now these weren't just 16 bar verses; these were like entire papers. And last time I said I had like, some of the rhymes, I actually found them. So I kept them in a box for years. So what I have here is like a stack of written rhymes from 8th grade to about 12th grade, as you can see right here. There's some weight on this thing. So there's like an entire like blue notebook, which is right here at the top, and I've got all these pages. Like, people don't have pages of rhymes anymore, so I'm gonna hold on to mine until the day I die. But one thing with those, just writing all that was my way of learning to become prolific. That was my way of trying to close the skill gap that I felt existed between me and everyone else. I think a lot of artists are about their art like that. They're the toughest critics on their art, and I was very critical of myself early, and I always felt like there was just a gap between me and everyone else. So I was like, if I can't out rap them, I'm outwork them. I'm gonna have more verses, more flows, more punchlines, more everything. So around this time, like, I would record these freestyle tapes with my boy Hots, and we would stick 2 radios together and do it. I don't know how we did it back then, but we would play the beat out of one, and we would have a blank tape recording on the second one and do these freestyles over beats like Jim Crow's Holla at a Playa, Freeways, Even Though What We Do Is Wrong, the Nori, Grimy instrumental, different stuff like around that era. And it was just, you know, a lot of fun. Like, and I wish I had those to share with you guys, but I do not. You know, the rhymes, as I mentioned on here, I had that blue notebook that I mentioned. It allowed me to, you know, stick some, you know, kind of like, you know, I would cut stuff out of magazines and put them together. So what I actually did was like what we would call like a vision board now. So I have 3 like different sides. So this is what was on my vision board. As you can see in the middle, we got the 5 mics for the Surfer magazine. I always wanted 5 mics. Run DMC, different great people in the game. You know, me as a youngster, you see Daryl in the red hat, and that's my stepbrother Jamie. Andre in the white, my boy Ryan that played ball with us. You know, Big Daddy Kane, Paid in Full, Kanye, different stuff like that. People that were just great at the craft that I wanted to be, you know. And when I opened my rap book, I wanted to be like, yo, do it to leave a legacy. Do it to, you know, try to do it to the best of your ability. And on this side, I had Ninth Wonder. So, and he was talking about FL Studio, and I was like, what's FL Studio? I kept hearing about it, and then it was like the Jay-Z Black album. Well, probably a little bit later that I found out this dude made this beat on this program called Fruity Loop. So that would kind of plant the seed later for me to hop on that one. So by this time though, it's 2003, as I mentioned, I was making beats on the the MTV Music Generator. But by 2003, PlayStation 1 was like on the way out of here. Like, either your games weren't working, your PlayStation was broke. I don't know what happened. My MTV Music Generator didn't work anymore, and I felt like I exhausted everything I can get out of it. Literally going home every day and spending back-to-back summers fucking with it. It was done at that point. It was cooked. So what I had to do from there was kind of find something else. And, you know, I had always seen in different magazines about the MPC, you know, 2000, 3000, 4000, and all that stuff looked very intimidating for a 13, 14-year-old that was just like, yo, I'm used to this video game stuff. But I was like, where's the fucking screen? Like, I don't understand. like where do you see your stuff? So, and that's still like a thing. And, you know, visuals, that actually, you know, FL Studios, I think they're better than everyone with that. But around that time, I actually picked up something called Magic's Music Maker, which, you know, what kind of was a short-lived, you know, kind of game. I think it still exists, like, in a computer form now, but back then it was on PS2, and it was a blue disc. So we were able to, like, start rocking with that. Like, me and Dre, we would go back to the studio, you know, making different songs. And I was, you know, I lived on the West Coast for a little bit of time and came back loving the pianos and big drums. And that actually, they had that in a lot bigger way than the MTV game did at the time. But that was short-lived because there was something on with the laser discs, with the blue discs were on the way out. The only thing that was going to work were the DVD silver discs. So we didn't really get to rock as much as I wanted to on that one, but while we had it rocking, Magic's Music Maker was fire. So around this time, like, I'm moving in with my grandma. My mom's moving to Florida. I don't want to go, of course. All my friends live in Massachusetts. I'm, you know, rapping and doing stuff like that. And I move with my grandma, and I don't have a bedroom anymore. And it's cool, though. I was very comfortable, of course, well taken care of. My grandma always had great meals, lots of food, always, you know, the couch is very comfortable, can't lie. But the thing for me was I spent a lot of time at the kitchen table, not eating, mind you. And, you know, I'm, you know, I cut my beard. I'm looking kind of crazy right here, but I would sit at the kitchen table and listen to, if, you know, the Blueprint 2 was my essentially first jolt of a jump, I would say listen to Life After Death. took me to like a master's class, essentially a finishing school, if you will. And I got that from my brother Taryn, who used to let me just raid his computer and burn like whatever I wanted to. Sorry, I was a huge pirate. And the cool thing about my grandma's house was she lived like near downtown, which was a different area than I had lived previously. And she was about, a 20-minute walk away from this mixtape place called Scope Spot. I would go up there with $5, get a mix CD, and it would be like Best of Cassidy, Best of Joe Budden, Best of Fabulous, Best of Lloyd Banks, the one with 40 tracks on it. Those of y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And it was every week I was just getting these things, getting influences, writing, and just literally spending all this time, in this summer at my grandma's and the end of a school year at my grandma's, kind of just, sealed away, learning the craft and taking what I want to put into the music, like into it. I wasn't really concerned about song structure. I was like, I need to rap as good as I can. Like, so as you can see, like, there are lots and lots of pages of rhymes in here, and this is no bullshit. Like, this is like, these are raps. So, I'm not gonna rap them out for you, but they exist. So, and of course, I got another full notebook in here. The composition joint, so you always got to have a composition joint. And what's it say on the front? It says Danger Rich. So I would go to Scope Spot and just work more stuff in, and that really like helped me until like I had to end up moving because my grandma was moving into like a senior living facility at the time, and I couldn't go with her, so I had to eventually like end up coming to Florida. And it was crazy because I had no more friends, I had no more rap group to lean on. We did have the internet to kind of stay connected as much as we could, but obviously we started living like our lives in high school and everything like that, so we weren't able to check in on each other as much. But the rise of social media would bring us back together. But for like a period, it was like, I was even in more seclusion moving to Florida than I was living at my grandma's house, because it wasn't like I could get dropped across town or take the bus across town to go like hang with all my friends or people I rapped with, or to go to a party or something. This was like, this is a whole new area of the country. I know no one, so it's like, I'm gonna stay in the house. And when I stayed in the house, I discovered my love for making beats again. And by this time I had a computer in my house. I never had one in my house until about 2004 2005, and I ended up getting the demo version of Fruity Loops and was like, I'm gonna figure it out. And my beats were trash. Of course, I'm not reading no instruction manuals, but my boy JL would, who I'm going to talk about later in the series, he was a huge catalyst, pretty much the way Hots and Dre were, for getting me there on the lyrical tip, on the production tip. I pretty much owe everything to JL. So, and later Coney Cone. But we're gonna leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed what I got so far. And leave me a comment in the comment section if there's something you want to ask me. I'll try to work it in and all that. But this is Rich. Thank you guys for rocking with me, and we'll pick it up next time. Moving to Florida and what happened when I got to Florida. Peace.